This is no way to watch TV. I'm going to show you how to mount your TV so you're not sitting on the floor like me. I've got a 65-inch TV that I need to mount on this wall. I bought a mount online. There's lots of different mounts out there. Some of them are TV specific, others just are based on the weight or size of your TV. So make sure that it is something that works for your TV size and weight. That is first and foremost, because you want to make sure that once you put your TV up there, it's not falling down. So I'm not going to get into the specifics of how to put this mount together specifically, but the process by which you put your TV and the mount on the wall. There are a few tools we're going to need in order to successfully hang the TV. One is a drill bits, a level, measuring tape, and a pencil. And then we're also going to use the template that comes with our actual mount, which will help guide us to where to drill the holes exactly. Now, before we can even drill holes, we need to look at the wall and figure out where are we anchoring this to. It's important to know where you're going to hang your TV first and foremost. You want to make sure you're not going to be craning your neck to look at it, and you want to make sure that it's in a place where it's going to fit. After that, we want to look and make sure that the wall where you're going to put it, or place where you're going to put it, is actually suitable for it. Typically, you're going to have either studs that you drill into, or it could be concrete or masonry. If you're doing concrete or masonry, you're going to need a masonry bit. In this instance, we do not have that. So we're going to be drilling directly into the wood studs behind this wall. The first thing we're going to need to do is figure out where the studs are exactly. Now, there are a couple ways of doing this. You can, one, buy a stud finder in which it'll go off when you're near the studs, or two, you can try your hand at kind of tapping on the wall and figuring it out. That's for more experienced people who know where studs typically are. Typically, your studs should be every 16 inches on center. That means at the center of each stud is 16 inches to the center of the other stud. However, there are times where this is not done. So don't use that as your general rule to work off of, but it's a good starting point. The particular mount I bought can pan left to right and up and down. Your mount may not do the same thing, so keep that in mind when you decide where to put it. If you're doing a completely fixed one with just some movement, think about that before you put it up on the wall. Before we can even figure out where we're going to mount this and look for the studs, we're going to go ahead and put these on the back of the TV. Your TV mount will likely come with several different size screws and spacers designed for multiple size TVs, different brands. Now you want to make sure you screw this in by hand, because if you were to use a drill and go too hard on this, you might damage the actual TV itself. And lastly, once we do mount this little piece will go over here and screw on so that it stays on tight. So I've done some measurements roughly off of where this mounts onto the back of the TV to figure out where the bottom of the TV is going to sit, just from measuring some different points on what's been mounted to the TV. It's a little tricky. There's a lot of math involved in just figuring out where things go, figuring from top to bottom, center of this and everything like that. So I actually went ahead, found out where my studs are. Unfortunately, they're not all 16 inches on center. I've got one here, and I've got one here, and then my other one is all the way over here, which is a little more than 16 inches. Some of these mounts will come with arms that extend out a little further so that you can then extend a few extra inches in case your stud's off by a little bit. This is where it's really nice to have a mount that's adjustable every which way, because normally if I took a regular mount and had to put it on the side here, well, my TV would be mounted sideways. Now I have the advantage of being able to just mount this still here, being centered. No one's going to see the mount behind the TV, so I don't have to worry about the appearance. Now that I've figured out where exactly I'm going to mount the TV, now I can mark where I'm going to make my holes to then drill in the mount to the TV. It comes with a template, and in this case, I told you there comes some arms on here. I'm not using those arms, so I can fold these back in. To be safe, I will take a level and mark these off as well, because while there is some adjustment you can make to level the mount, I'd rather have it level from the get-go. This particular mount comes with a cute little level. However, I really would much rather use either a 3-foot or a 4-foot level. These are the bolts we're going to be putting in the wall. Depending upon the size of your TV, if you're getting a mount designed for a 100-inch TV or a 50-inch TV, the size of the bolts may vary. So we're going to drill these actually directly into the wood studs. But first we're going to pilot holes and make sure we're on center of the stud. We don't want to splinter the stud because then we will not have a good hold. And we don't want to potentially have this TV fall out. Now when we drill the hole to put this screw in after, we're not going to use the same exact drill bit as the thread. We want to let the thread have something to grab onto, so we'll make it a little bit tight. Now because I was off by a little bit, I'm going to take my template and just make sure I'm still correct here. So some improvisation was required here, and because I was off and the location by which the outlet is quite prohibitive for me moving this over much. So because I'm taking the face off of this outlet, I'm hoping that I can just adjust this over and all my holes will line up. But on this side we're just off by a little bit. So we're going to actually move our hole up a little bit to the right, and this way we should be fine. Mind you, most of these holes are going to be covered up so you won't see them. Listen, it's not unusual to make a few extra holes. Nobody's perfect. Make sure you have it so that the arrows are facing up. Now I need to use a socket. The ultimate test as to whether this is mounted and staying in place, we're going to give it a little bit of pull, not too much. But this thing ain't going anywhere. I finished putting the mount together for what connects to the TV. Next up is where I need someone to help me. I brought in my assistant, Mrs. Fix-It, not a realtor, but Mrs. Fix-It, Mrs. Tell Me What to Fix. So she's gonna help me lift this up. Now that it is on, we will go ahead and screw in the last little screw that'll keep this secure. It sort of functions like a clamp. So we're going to put this piece over here. It won't necessarily sit flush, and your mount may be different, but this is my mount, so this is what mine's like. So it's mounted now. I can swivel it or pan it from side to side. I'm going to make sure this is centered on the wall. There you have it. Mrs. Fix-It, sort of pleased. I'm happy. Next up, some behind the scenes stuff, hooking up the audio and visual things. But this is how to install a TV mount. Maybe you found this helpful. Maybe your wife thinks, I should have got a different mount. But Be sure to subscribe, and thanks again for watching. All right, Vanna White.